I'm just okay. Hi, everybody. Welcome to the Cozy Mystery Book Club. I am Shay McLeod. I apologize if I'm a little low energy because I'm still on my first cup of coffee. I'm here with interviewing Kate P. Adams, who is our May author of the month. Welcome, Kate.
Very much. It's lovely to see you again.
It is very lovely to see you again. We had a little interview. I think it was a couple of years ago. We
Yeah,
had quite a good time. So,
we did. We did. Absolutely.
so your book of which is our book of the month is Murder on Sweet, the first Joyce and Ginger um, mi- book mystery, obviously. Woo.
Yep. Well,
uh, so tell us a little bit about it. Like, how did you get the idea? What's sort of who are our protagonists? That sort of thing.
yeah, sure. Well, this series is a spin-off from my original Charlton House Mysteries.
Ah, okay.
It's a spin-off
Yes.
series. And the character of Joyce, she's a long-running character in the Charlton House Mysteries. She's in pretty much every one.
Mm-hmm.
Uh, in book, I'd say five, it's not, I think it's book six. She meets this character, Ginger. And when I was writing it, I kind of thought these two need a bit more airtime. They're
Mm.
an odd couple. They you wouldn't expect them to be friends. It's one of those kind of scenarios.
Haha. Yeah.
Well, okay, we have a lot of fun with this. And Joyce is quite a flamboyant, outspoken character, and she's very popular with my readers, and I
Mm-hmm.
love writing her. So it was an opportunity to spend more time with Joyce.
Mm-hmm.
So I decided that Joyce and Ginger would become very good friends, and with each of the books, they go away for a weekend or they go on holiday together.
Mm-hmm.
So it's a different location in each series.
Oh, fun.
Yeah, so I started them off in Derbyshire,
Okay.
where house mysteries are set, and sort of created a scenario. So for this first book that everyone will get a copy of, that's still set in mine and their beloved Derbyshire, and that there's a
Okay.
reason they're staying in a hotel for a few days up the road from home.
Oh.
And then the second book, I took them off to London for a weekend,
Oh,
and the book just published through in Edinburgh. So it's really kind of a travel, sort of a travel series, and these
nice.
two characters who, spend a lot of time making fun of each other, but
Uh-huh.
they're very good mates, and they go and have a great laugh, and everywhere they go, they stumble across a dead body, as you do.
As you do.
Yeah.
It's funny. I have a few characters like that myself. Always.
In the latest book, two dead bodies of all things.
Oh my goodness. Between I think between the two of us and Midsummer Murders, I don't think there's anyone left alive in the whole of England.
I don't think
Um,
there is. I don't think. Yeah, 'cause, I mean, the joke with some murders, there's nobody in the village. Well, we've managed to expand it across the UK. That's decimated the population. I'm the only person left in the UK right now. I'm
right
here in
now,
my.
you're in your bunker, safe.
I am. Um,
Well, I remember when we interviewed about the first book, you had created a really cool coffee cocktail for the book, because coffee was the theme. Did you do sort of anything like that for this book or this series?
I haven't done actually. They certainly have their favorite drinks. I mean,
Hmm.
everywhere that they go, Joyce always has a what's it called? You'll know it because you're into your cocktails. Um, White wine with gin and lemon juice.
Sorry, what kind of gin?
Sparkling wine
Oh,
champagne.
oh, oh, French 75.
French 75. That's it. Everywhere Joyce goes, she has a French 75, and that's how she will judge the quality of a bar.
Oh,
Um,
fair.
is Yeah, champagne lover. I mean, she'd have it instead of water, given the choice, I think. And Ginger is a very, very keen bourbon drinker.
Ah,
Old fashioned, but in and she's always kind of said that she's not really into whiskey, that she's a strict bourbon drinker. But I think I've managed to change that with the latest book being up in Scotland.
oh.
She does have a very bad hangover in one of the books. So in one of the chapters. So yeah, nothing in particular made for them, but certainly
They
cocktails.
have their favorite cocktail. Excellent. I would expect nothing less. She sounds like a girl after my own heart. I am very much a bourbon fan. In fact, for my podcast that I do with Amy Sissel, we do sort of a bookish witchy sort of thing, and we were interviewing someone. He's an English author who lives in France, and he was very put out that I would consider bourbon a whiskey, and I'm like, dude, I can't help science. I know emotionally for you, being English, it's not whiskey, but
Well, I've always been a big bourbon drinker, but since moving back home to the UK, it's I'm a whiskey drinker.
yeah, well, yeah. You kind of, I don't remember there being as much bourbon there, but I haven't been there in a while, so I don't remember.
Well, having said that, I mean, there's some fantastic distilleries around here, and
Right.
one of my favorite whiskies is made in Derbyshire, just up the road. So,
Ooh, nice, nice. I mean, I do like. There are a few whiskeys that I like, but I like them only in cocktails. I don't like them straight. You know, which bourbon I'll drink. Well, not straight, but I'll drink it on the rocks. I'm a little bit of a. I did every once in a while. Alan will hand me like a new bourbon, like in a little shot glass, and I'm like,
yeah.
you know?
Well, I've managed to mix my personality into, or my tastes, I suppose, between the two characters, being a whiskey drinker and I also love a glass of champagne. So
Same.
I would have a great time hanging out with these characters. You sort of think, oh, I've got to have a night out with these two.
Yeah. Yeah, absolutely.
A lot of fun, a lot of fun.
That's kind of why when I wrote Lady Rample, like initially I was just gonna have her drink highballs or something, and then I discovered the Aviation. I was like, oh, okay, so now she drinks the Aviation, and then I discovered another, vintage cocktail and went, well, now she's got to try this. So yeah, she's definitely got that part of my personality. I got to try them all. So now you are from the Derbyshire area, or you're from England. I think we've established that.
Take it easy. Yeah.
So clearly, obviously that inspires your books, and I'm assuming you probably do a little bit of travel to research.
In those inverted commas. I mean, the great thing about, well, I suppose that I'm quite lucky in that I've done a heck of a lot of travel worldwide over the years. But
Yeah,
the places I set the books in the UK, they're all places I'm very familiar with.
right.
So the first book is set just up the road from where I grew up and where I live now. So I know the town of Brixton very well. And that's one of those very pretty English spa towns.
Oh, yeah.
Became very, very popular in times gone by, and has its own water source and that kind of stuff. So I know Buxton incredibly well. The second book is in London, and I lived in London for getting on for 12 years.
Wow.
And it's called Murder in the Wings, and that's set partly in the theatre, hence the wings bit.
Cool.
Yeah, I started off my career working in theatre, so again, that was something that I could pull into it.
Mm-hmm.
Third book, I chose Edinburgh because I'm part Scots and sort of very proud and love Scotland.
Same.
But I've spent, yeah, come on, well with the name. I absolutely adore Edinburgh. I think it's probably my favourite city anywhere.
It's a beautiful city.
Yeah, and again, over the last few years, I've spent a lot of time there, and I've had various trips around the Highlands as well. And I'd always said that I wanted to write a book set in Edinburgh. So when it came to the third book, I knew that I had to take Joyce and Ginger there.
Of course,
And
yeah.
the book is a bit of a 50-50 split. It's almost, it's not two stories, it's one story, but there's very much two halves to the book. One is Edinburgh, where there is one murder at the Edinburgh Castle, and then they head out to the Highlands. So then you've got the incredible scenery in the mountains, and there's another murder there. So it's
Lovely.
so I've picked places that I know and love. Wanted to take Joyce and Ginger, and and also where I knew there's a lot of fascinating history.
Right.
As you know, that's a big thing for me.
Absolutely.
And even the local stuff, even this book, Murder on Sweet, I did a lot of research around Mary Queen of Scots because she stayed in Buxton.
That's right. Yeah.
and the it's actually Mary Queen of Scots that I kill off in this book in a manner of speaking. So rather
Oh,
well,
teaser.
I mean, in one of the Charlton House mysteries, I killed Charles Dickens.
As one
So
does.
I've now the Queen of Scots. So it's kind of, well, okay, which famous figure from history am I going to, bump off next time? We'll see. But yeah.
I love it. That's so fantastic. Oh gosh, I really want to read this now. I'm really looking forward to it. Last time, okay, let's see. So let's talk. So that have you? Is there anything else that you've sort of done? Any? Last time we talked about the most bizarre thing you researched for a book, and it's been a couple of years. So have you? Do you have a new bizarre thing you've researched?
Um, well, for this latest Joyce and Ginger, the third in the series, I was researching books that are bound in skin, but bound in human skin.
Aha!
Yeah.
Yes.
So that was fascinating. I long had a strange fascination with that, I
Oh,
suppose.
yeah.
Um, and I've always been fascinated with Burke and Hare, who were, well, they were often called the grave robbers in Edinburgh
Mm-hmm.
because they didn't rob any graves, they killed people. Um,
Yeah.
they, the other bit of the job, don't bother digging them up, just
Yeah.
kill them. And when they were, one of them who was hung, um, part of his skin was used to bind various things with, and so that was the first time I'd heard about it. So not very
Mm.
cozy, a bit gory. Sorry,
Oh.
readers. I don't go into detail. I promise. It's just a book that happens to be there that is
Yeah.
bound.
Yeah.
Um, and yeah, so I became quite fascinated by that, and I've seen some on display in the US and in the UK. So
Mm-hmm.
that's a slightly odd thing to be interested in, but it's
But
fascinating.
yeah, I agree. It's I found it fascinating. I've seen some documentaries where that was included. Like it wasn't about that, but that was included. And I I seen one in person. I mean, it was behind glass, and it was like if you didn't know what it was, you wouldn't know what it was, and that was like the wild thing to
Mm.
me. And like, yeah, it was so
No, it's
crazy.
fascinating stuff. I mean, the history of medicine and social history around medicine has always fascinated me,
Mm-hmm.
and Edinburgh is a real hub of that.
Yeah,
So
yeah.
there's a lot of stories about the whole grave robbing and of course the murder of Burke and Hare.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, it's that whole area is something that's long held an interest for me,
Yeah.
and I was able to reference some of it in the Joyce and Ginger. I want to do a lot more with it in the future,
Mm-hmm.
but yeah, so that sort of cluttered up my Google search. Which
Oh, we're probably both on watch lists somewhere.
I think we probably are.
Like Memento
Yeah,
Mori.
it kind of amuses me because beyond the sort of the Google search that we have,
Yeah.
I'm really not that interesting. So, they're going to be very disappointed. It's kind of when people talk about, they're getting really worried about Big
Mm-hmm.
Brother and everything's watching us now and all that kind of stuff. I'm sort of like, carry on. I'm really dull.
I know if they want to watch me, they can go ahead.
Yeah,
Because
I just, really do, because you're not going to get a lot of information out of me.
just,
Yeah.
people will ask like, "What have you been up to?" And I'm like, writing.
Well, to be fair, people ask me that, and half the time I can't remember what I did the other day. I haven't got a clue. It's the most common of questions that we get. What do you do on the weekend?
I don't know. I
Uh,
probably ate breakfast at some point.
it's not in my diary. Then it didn't happen, quite frankly. Um, yeah, I'm getting old. I'm getting old. And actually, that's one of the nice things about writing Joyce and Ginger is
Yeah,
these two women who are probably about 15-ish years older than me. You never ask a lady her age.
of
Uh,
course. Mm,
but you just sort of wiggle it out of them through the book. But they're off doing crazy stuff and living life to the fullest
yeah.
and not caring what people think. And I mean, I'm looking at them and going, "Well, I'm exhausted writing about you, but I would quite like to be you in a next life.
I
I'd quite like to hang out with you." Um, they, yeah, they have a lot of fun and they're very silly and
hmm
sort of childish about
Oh, I
some
love
stuff
it.
and
I
just
love it.
taking the mickey out of each other. endlessly. But, you know, one of those relationships where they would die for each other,
Right.
but you know,
Yeah.
if anybody's going to take the mickey out of you, it's me. Everybody
Uh-huh.
else.
Nobody else gets to. It's very like it's very sort of a Nick and Nora Charles thing where like especially in the like well, I haven't read the books to be honest. I
Horrifying,
I
horrifying.
know, I know. I really need to. I really need to because I've heard they're quite good. But I've seen the movies like
They're quite good.
quite good. I know. The British comes out every once in a while. But I love my favorite is the first movie because it's pre-code in America, and so they really take the mick out of each other. Like they are just nonstop, but like, but they're also just madly in love with each other. So, and then after that, they kind of tone it down, especially her. But they're still delightful. So I love that sort of interplay. The whole like,
Yeah, and some of it because Joyce in particular is based on two real people.
mm,
And it's interesting because she's quite wild and outrageous, and you know, one or two comments from people saying, "Oh, she's just too much. She's a bit of a stereotype. She's just too much." I'm reading it, going, "Better not tell my mates that it's based on." Um, there's two of them, and one I worked with when I was in my 20s. She was my boss, and
mm-hmm,
she was physically very much like Joyce.
mm-hmm,
So Joyce is quite a statuesque lady,
mm-hmm.
um, blonde hair piled up on top of her head. There's no way in hell that it's naturally blonde at this point in her life, but it is up there. Lots of makeup.
Uh-huh.
Um, she's kind of on the slimmer side, but not really skinny. So
Mm-hmm.
she and this woman that I work with, I'm not going to give her real name, but she would wear clothes that were a bit tight for her, and she wore a lot of animal print stuff and quite
Ah,
bright stuff.
yeah.
And one of the things that often occurred is she'd wear very tight leopard print skirts. And this was when I worked back in a theatre, and my mum would come and see. My mum and dad would come and see shows,
Mm-hmm.
and they'd say, "Oh, mum would say, oh, she's got a VPL again." So she's got a visible panty line because the skirt's so tight.
Yeah.
And she was and that was the only thing about mum wanted to know about my shift at work was
Whether
she
she
just,
had a VPL or not.
well, this person clearly didn't care, had
Right.
the most outrageous wonderful wardrobe. So
Uh-huh.
that side of Joyce is absolutely based on a real person.
Uh-huh.
An element of the personalities as well, because Joyce is quite scary in many respects, and so her job at Charlton House, where we first meet her, she heads up all the shops. She's in
Mm-hmm.
charge of the side of things, and people are terrified of her. But once you kind of get to know her,
Uh-huh.
and once she sees that you're a hard worker or a good person,
Mm-hmm.
she is a loyal protector, and will fight for her team.
Mm-hmm.
There's an element of that, and more of her personality, from a woman that I worked with at Hampton Court Palace, who was, would absolutely stick up for her team. Her team
Mm-hmm.
adored her, but you kind of didn't want to cross her. And she was different. She was little. I mean, she barely reached my shoulder.
Oh my
And
goodness.
she did say to me once, somebody had annoyed me in a meeting, and she heard about this, and she said, "Right, who was it? I'm going to go get them. I'm your terrier. I will go chew their ankles. This is it. But we're not having anything." So and also we would take the Mickey out of each other,
Uh-huh.
and yet we were very very fond of each other. And she and this is Joyce and Ginger all over as well. So this woman at Hampton Court, she knows that my strong point was never the finance side of things. So
Mm-hmm.
for my management job, I had a big team of people. I had big budgets. Luckily, we had a finance department that was understanding, and I regularly bribed them with chocolates because I was
Oh.
kind of like, I don't know what I'm doing. I don't know what I'm doing. So this friend of mine knew I didn't like spreadsheets. I hate
Yeah.
spreadsheets. It's
Mm-hmm.
just a massive blur for me. And on one occasion, she emailed me this spreadsheet with lots and lots of tabs, full of numbers, full of data. And I'm looking at it, and steam's coming out of my ears.
Oh
And
no.
I phoned her and saying, "But what have I got to do with it? I don't understand. Is this a job I'm meant to have done? Am I going to be in? What have I done?" And she went, "No, I just thought I'd send it you and wind you up. I thought you would be out there." Thanks, thanks so much. Love it. So
And that was your first murder.
pretty
Fiction.
much, yeah. I mean, like I say, she was this little woman. She was a bit
Uh-huh.
older than me, and she could have floored an entire army. I mean, you wouldn't mess with this woman. So I kind of stuck these two women together, which
Uh-huh.
gives you an idea of how outrageous Joyce is. Um, but it's entirely factual, and
Yeah.
it's not that I've glued two people together and made somebody that is not recognizable. It's
Right.
like either of them sat in front of me. And that's one of the wonderful fun things about it. Is she's outrageous, but
Yeah.
she's real,
Yeah.
and that's really nice. And
Yeah.
and then Ginger, who is verbally just as outrageous,
Mm-hmm.
but she's not flamboyant, sort of on the outside. She's the one that will go hike mountains whilst Joyce finishes off a bottle in the wine bar. Uh, Ginger prefers a flat shoe. Joyce
Mm-hmm.
doesn't go anywhere without stilettos. So yeah, and yet as a character, as a person, Ginger
Yeah.
is just the same. And
Right.
to look at them, they would be a very, very odd
Odd
couple.
couple for sure.
They're
Yeah,
just
you know what I found is that often the characters that are the most based on reality, or the situations that are most based on reality, are the ones that so many readers are will criticize as being unrealistic.
yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. I mean, it's like with most stuff. We always say the truth is stranger than fiction.
I know. Yeah.
You know, so much can happen in our lives that will say, well, nobody would believe us
Mm-mm.
if that.
You know,
But
I wrote a whole book where because when I lived in London, I was single. I wasn't really meeting any guys, so I decided to do online dating. And I went on a number of dates over a stretch of couple of months. And they just got weirder. I'm not joking. Like, they just got weirder. And so I had to write them down. And then I eventually turned them into a romantic comedy.
right.
Um, and I had a criticism on it that one person couldn't be so stupid as to go on that many terrible dates. It's just unrealistic. And I'm like,
Yes, I'm stupid.
yes, yeah, I'm stupid. Call me stupid. Yeah. So I always think that's really funny. I didn't feel insulted. I just thought it was hilarious that was the real part. The other part where she meets a celebrity that's, very loosely based on Tom Hiddleston, and like runs into him on the tube and falls in love and everything, that was realistic, but
Yeah, absolutely.
the one part that wasn't real.
That's the thing. We will make note of all these things. I mean, as writers, we're basically magpies.
Yeah.
That's all we do. We see stuff and we steal it and we put it in our books. So,
Exactly.
I like to think truth is stranger than fiction.
Uh,
So that weird as heck truth is going to end up in the
yeah.
books.
Yeah, it really did. And so I didn't even put in like the weirdest parts of some of those stories, like, the toe sucker, for instance. I just met this guy. It was summer. We're on the tube. I'm wearing sandals, and we've been walking around London, so my feet are filthy. And he wanted to suck my toe
No, 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 no.
in public on the tube.
Oh,
Now,
dear.
I
Oh,
am American. I'm less reserved about these things than some, but that was a bridge way too far. Now, I put that in the book because
there you
that
go.
was hilarious.
I'd
But,
like to see what Joyce would have done to that man if she'd missing on the London Underground train. I don't think he'd have ever got off that train, at least not in one. These are people that you want with you. So yeah.
absolutely. They sound like a hoot. So, you just put out the third book,
Yep.
and what are you working on next?
Right now, I'm working on the next Charlton House mystery.
Okay.
It's been a very long time since I published. There's been quite a lot that went on in my life over the last
Mm-hmm.
couple of years, and writing became a bit of a challenge. But one's mojo is back, which is marvelous.
Yay.
And Charlton House. Oh, I think this will be book. I want to say 12. I need to quickly
Wow,
count.
awesome. Yeah,
Um,
that's me.
yeah. So yes, I'm going back to Charlton House, which is wonderful. I've started the next book, which has witches and witchcraft and the history of witches
Ooh, cool.
at the core of it, which again
Uh-huh.
is something that I'm absolutely fascinated by.
Mm.
So that's there. So yeah,
Awesome.
and I'm what I'm thinking of doing actually is having this book set whilst Joyce is in Scotland, actually. So she'll probably make an appearance by phone or something.
Right.
But yeah, it's time to focus back on Sophie and Mark and the rest of the team. And it's also a point in the series where things are really starting to happen for those characters sort
Mm-hmm.
of in the rest of their lives.
Okay.
Um, so it's quite nice now. I mean, you'll find this with your work that this whole thing about characters surprise you and the
Mm-hmm.
series in ways that I'm really enjoying how the characters are maturing and their lives are developing. So
Yeah.
it's wonderful to be back in there and uh, and yeah, spending more time with them. So
Nice.
the next Charlton House is what I've just started.
Awesome.
Yeah, yeah.
That's fantastic. Well, thanks so much for coming along for this lovely Q&A.
My pleasure.
And
See you.
everybody, don't forget to download Kate's book in the month of May, Murder on Sweet.
Absolutely. I hope you enjoy.
Stop.